Right, this is one of these things where you only get one shot at it. I'm going to put that, I'm going to try to put that, will it focus for you? Right, on there. It's all prepared. It's been lacquered twice and it's very smooth, lovely. Generally speaking, you should cut as close to the words as you can, and then you won't see the edge of the plastic that's going to be stuck on the wood. In this instance, I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm not going to cut it too close to the words, because my plan, for one does have a plan, is to use, if you're very careful, you can use a little bit of sandpaper after it's really dried thoroughly. Let me just take a little bit more away. You can smooth the edges with sandpaper very gently, and it almost hides the edges. Now, it is extremely difficult to do, but I'm going to try it anyway. Right, so I'm trying to position it roughly where I want it to go. Yeah, I could go in there and point it out, but I got a feeling it might be better to have it sitting out a bit like that. Well, I have to make the decision, so do I want it that way? See, there's a parallel track there that I can follow, so I'm going to stick to that. Right, okay. Now, before I go to the neck, everything's sitting ready and prepared. I have I'm going to show you this even if it goes wrong. That is just a half a drop of fairy liquid, and this is just lukewarm water which I'm putting onto it. It's not warm in the slightest, but you can feel it's not cold, and I'm mixing it, so that makes it slide a bit easier. So I'm going to put a bit of water on the head. Let me just pull out a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Now, if you made that water too hot and you put that inside the water when it was too hot, it'd just curl up and it would give you a lot of trouble. So, right, this is a one-shot thing. I hate doing it, but here we go. Right, okay. And I'm putting the water over the front of it as well, because it's got a little bit of soap in it. That makes it easier for me to manipulate. Now let it sit for a few seconds. Let it sit for a few seconds. And what should happen is the whole thing should slide off once it's been sitting. I think I'll have a drink. And I'm talking about having a drink of my Coca-Cola. Where is it? It's actually, I hate Coca-Cola. I wouldn't touch Coca-Cola with a barge pole. And I'm sure Pepsi Max is the same. Stupid bloody people pandering to these weirdos. But in this instance, I'm drinking Pepsi. Right, now what I'm trying to do is see if it's it comes up through the back of the paper and loosens the adhesive on the inside of the back. So I'm waiting to see. I'm going to put on my other glasses to have a close look at it to see if it's going to slide off at any stage. Yes, it's sliding. And you know how I can tell it's sliding? Because I have to get it off. Right, okay. It's in my hand now. I hate doing this. Did I say that? Right, okay. So, as you can see, it is delicate work. Now, wet finger. And as you see, it moves about a lot. Oh, did you see it with my head? Right, okay. That's it better. I get in closer. That's not it done yet though, by the way. That's not it done by half. I'll put this up as a little separate bit of video because you don't want any air behind it and you don't want any bubbles behind it, and that's one of the joys of cutting it closer to the words, because then if you cut it close to the words you don't get. So I'm going to hold it and very gently soak the water away in the background, very gently. Now I'm going to hold it this side and very gently, and I see it needs to be very gently. There's a lot of water beneath this. Right. Knowing when to stop is the thing. Just soaking up the water at the edges. Let me just see. You the patience of a saint. Okay. You see I'm working the edges of the, you can't probably see it, but I'm working the edges of the plastic because they must be down flat. Right. How does it look? I'm putting this up warts and all, even if it does go wrong, but I hope it doesn't go wrong. Now, I think that this plastic, I only think this, I don't know this for sure, but I think this plastic contracts, and I hope it contracts because that helps. Right, I think I need to stop. Right, because you can't overdo it. So what that has to do is dry for at least 24 hours from my point of view. And then what I do is I take a little bit of fine 3000 sandpaper and just buff the edges, and then give it a couple more coats of lacquer, right, brains. Now, original barrel body, but this is not a barrel body. And I'm going to put this on. I'm going to put it on up here. I don't know what it does though. So, oh right, I should have cut it, shouldn't I? Yeah. I actually don't know what it means. Maybe it's something the something part of the joke that the owner has with it. Now, don't forget, you've seen how quickly that curled with lukewarm water. Make sure if you're doing this to not use anything that's too warm at all, and only the merest hint of soap. Too much soap will stick beneath it all, and then you'll be up the creek without a paddle, and that Bob won't be your uncle, and Fanny won't be your aunt. And while that's just dissolving in there, this came from Rothko and Frost. Yeah, it's just repeating it exactly how I did it. I've done several of these, and they're always nerve-wracking. And my nerves are wrecked now still, because you're sort of nervous because you wreck it. That's it done. Okay, so I'm going to put that up here just to break the monotony of the area. So I'm going to put, as I say, there could be some sort of end joke about, it says on it, original barrel body. Right, let me just take this off. And as you see, again, I repeat the fact that I am not, I'm not taking the, I'm not cutting it to size. You have some room to work, but not a lot. Sorry, you have some time to spare and you have some play, but not a lot. Now you see the corner of that is bent over, but I am not what I would call particularly worried about it. Let me just hold the corner down. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can. Right, okay. This corner here is bent, but as I say, I'm not that worried about it because I'm going to be sanding that off. You see it's still moving about. That's the soap that's allowing that to happen. And there's some water beneath it as well that I have to squeeze out. Okay. This one is a little, I'm not going to say it, not until I stop playing with it. I refuse to now say that, what I was going to say. Right, okay. What I'm doing is tapping out any water that's behind it. Right, and there is an adhesive on the back of the plastic. Right, so I think you've seen everything you can see now, and I just wait for that to dry, and then I'll sand around it, and then I'll put another lacquer coat on it and put the things on it,